Hi, I'm Sam from Interface. We're Bitrix24 partners. Thank you for joining today. Okay, so first of all, we'll just go through an introduction. So I'm Sam Connor, sales manager here at Interface, and we're Bitrix24 Gold partners based in the UK, the US, and Hong Kong. And we offer a full range of services to assist you with Bitrix24. So starting off with pre-sale support, so we can help to answer your questions and essentially help you to fully evaluate the Bitrix24 system. And if it's a right fit for what you're trying to achieve, we can provide our implementation services to assist you with Bitrix24. So starting off there with setting up the system, we can then provide training and ongoing support to really help you maximize the value that you get from your Bitrix24 system. And if you are interested in the on-premise version of Bitrix24, we can provide our hosting service to manage the server for you. So you have all of that managed directly by the team here at Interface. Okay, so today's session, we're going to be focusing in on the self-hosted version of Bitrix24. But just before we go into looking at that self-hosted version, let's just discuss first of all what Bitrix24 actually is, because you may be coming to understand a bit more about Bitrix24 at a higher level. But so let's just go through first of all those elements. So Bitrix24 is a collaboration suite of well in excess now of 40 different tools and modules that you can use to help you to manage your business. And there are over 15 million businesses now around the world that use the Bitrix24 system, and it's available in two different editions. So we have the Bitrix24 Cloud and we have the Bitrix24 Self Hosted solution. And in terms of pricing, so prices start from approximately $49 per month for a cloud-based system. So that's starting at the basic cloud tier. And then for the on-premise, it starts at 3,590 US dollars in year one. And then in year two and ongoing annually, you'll pay a 50% renewal fee to continue to access the system. Okay, so let's start to take a look at the on-premise version of Bitrix24. So there are different names for it. So some people call it the self-hosted. It's also called the on-premise. Essentially, it's a private cloud version of Bitrix24. And in terms of the editions of the Bitrix24 self-hosted system, there's two versions. Okay, so first of all, we have the business edition. And this is the most popular, and usually it's the most suitable solution for most businesses. It includes all of the modules of the Bitrix24 system. It includes additional functionality, including a help desk and e-learning module. And in terms of user scales, so it starts at 50 users, and we can go all the way up to 500 users in the business version of Bitrix24. So here we are just coming over here to look at the on-premise here. So this is the pricing page for the on-premise. And you can see here, this is that business version here that we're just talking about. So it starts at 50 and it goes all the way up to 500 users for the business edition. And then if we just move back across here to look at the other version, it is the enterprise version. And the enterprise is our most advanced product, and it allows a company to establish an unlimited number of intranets, which can then all be managed by a single global administrator. So, for example, a company who operates maybe in multiple countries, they may want different sites with different languages and kind of personal localized branding for each of their organizations operating in those countries. So you could set up a separate intranet site for each one of those. And so if we take a look at the enterprise, so here we have the enterprise version. So that's here at 24,990 US dollars. So you get that separate division functionality. Now, if you did need more than 1,000 seats, you can buy those. So we can then you can purchase additional 1,000 seat plugins essentially to top up the total balance of seats on your system. And if you wanted to add another 1,000 seats as a bolt-on package, then the purchase of that costs 6,990 US dollars. Okay, and as we just go back here to look at the business, say if you started on a 50, if you then were to upgrade through the different tiers, you just pay the difference to upgrade to that next tier. So it's very scalable and it's very simple to add additional users into your system as the business grows. Okay, so that is a look at the two different editions of the self-hosted system. Let's now talk about some of the benefits of the self-hosted version of Bitrix24. So really one of the main benefits of the self-hosted solution is how customizable the platform is. Essentially, it's a fully customizable platform. So self-hosted solutions are full content management systems that can be customized extensively. Okay, so just talking about that customization then in some more detail is branding, first of all. So you can add your own branded login pages for the system. You can apply your own domain to the site. So essentially, you can start to make a self-hosted version of Bitrix24, your own piece of software incorporated into the business. There is also a control panel, and we're going to take a look at the control panel in some more detail shortly. So the control panel, if I just give you a bit of an idea, it's the area for administrators, essentially, to make changes to modules. You wouldn't be giving access to a standard user to the control panel. So we can limit who accesses this area of the system. And then modules can be configured in very advanced ways within the control panel. So if you are currently using a cloud version of Bitrix, then I think you're going to be really extremely impressed with the additional functionality that's available via the control panel. And then just below there, we have the source code. So there is full access to all of the source code. So this means if a customization you want, if it can't be configured within the control panel, it is usually possible to do this directly using that source code. So just to reference this, Bitrix, it is built on its own framework in PHP. So changing that source code, it really should only be attempted if you have experience of PHP, as well as a very good knowledge of the Bitrix24 platform itself. Okay, or alternatively, a partner such as Interface, we do customizations to the self-hosted system very frequently. It is the version of Bitrix that we specialize in, and we are the world #1 self-hosted partner. So if you do need some customization doing to your self-hosted version of Bitrix, if you need some advice as to what's the best way to do this, then please do speak to us and we can see how we can help you moving forward. Okay, so that's a look at the source code, and then following on from there, we have integration. So a full API is available on the self-hosted solution, so it allows you to integrate with thousands of other web applications. So we can develop that integration for you, whether that's a one-way or a two-way integration. And then finally, the self-hosted solution has a number of extra features that aren't found on the cloud products, such as a help desk system, We can also build in a front-end help desk using mailbox rules. So you can create rules off mailboxes, which you can't do on the cloud. There's also additional e-learning modules and advanced analytics. Okay, so you can see there a lot of core benefits to utilizing a self-hosted version of Bitrix. So now let's take a look at some of the actual benefits here in some more detail, because we did reference to begin with customizations. So one of the main reasons why businesses choose a self-hosted, it is the option to have that customized look and feel of the Bitrix intranet system. So the site can be customized to essentially match your corporate look, and the functionality that can also be configured to, I would say, make using the system more intuitive for staff. Okay, so we can remove modules, remove items that simply aren't required for specific user roles within the Bitrix system. So when they're in the platform, it becomes a lot easier to navigate. And that's where we can then start to get buy-in for the system, because it's easy and intuitive for team members to utilize. Okay. So if we just look at that customization in a bit more detail, styling, first of all, many areas can be branded, and we'll take a look at this in a moment. There's editing options. So any page can be edited, and administrators, they can create custom pages using the page editor wizard, which we'll take a look at. As I've just referenced there, navigation can be improved significantly. So this can, for example, maybe having links in the navigation panel to external sites. It can be removing modules that aren't needed for specific roles. So we're able to customize this depending on what users are using the platform. Okay, in terms of dashboards, it's possible to create custom dashboards to display different sets of data. And in terms of the customer portal, so with this system, we obviously have an extranet site. So we have options to customize the login page, the look and the feel of what external users have access to in the extranet or collab site. And then finally, it is possible also to create custom modules. So we can tailor a bespoke module to perform specific tasks or actions that the business requires. So essentially, with this self-hosted system, we could develop this into specific functionality, UI, and branded aspect of portal that you want for your specific business. So let's just head over back to our system. I just want to show you, first of all, we'll take a look at a branded page, and then I want to show you how we can create our own dynamic content within the Bitrix24 system. Okay, so what we'll do, first of all, let's just go over to our login page. So you can see here is a branded version of Bitrix24. So this is self-hosted, of course. So it's branded here, and it's on our own domain. So you can start to really see that customization taking effect here before we've even logged in to the platform. And then once we're in the platform here, I mentioned about the navigation here. So different user roles could access different modules here. So where on the cloud, you've got a settings area where you can turn on and turn off different modules. That is applied across the entire account. With a self-hosted system, let's say, for example, here, I'm a sales manager, so I can see the CRM, marketing, the BI builder. But let's say if you're maybe in the a standard sales development role, that user role could access here, but they wouldn't see the BI builder and they wouldn't see marketing. They would just see the CRM. So you can configure what different users can see in their Bitrix and what they can navigate in the platform. And if we come down into our control area here, you can see here the control panel that we've just talked about. So if we click into the control panel, okay, here, this is the background of the Bitrix24 system. So this is where we can start to essentially customize every single area of the Bitrix24 system. So as I say, only your administrators would have access to this area. You don't want to be giving your standard users access here because they can make changes to the platform. So we're going to take a look at this area in more detail. And so, for example, as well, within the control area, we've got mailbox rules. So I'm going to talk about this later on. So we can create advanced processes based on emails coming into a mailbox, which you don't have that functionality on the cloud because you don't have the ability to create new rules. So it's just starting to give you a bit of a flavor as to the advanced functionality we have in a self-hosted version. So let's just take a look at that then in some more detail. So if we come here into the company module, here we can see the sitemap, so we can navigate to different areas of the system easily. But I'm going to show you an example here of how we can create new content within our self-hosted system. So I want to create a new page in here. So we're going to have a new tab, and very popular in terms of what are used for information storing. We're going to create a policies page within here that everyone can access. So let's take a look at how we can create that page in the system. So what we want to do is go over back to the control panel. I'm going to go into our content area, and we're going to go into the about section where the company site is. Okay, so inside here, then we can see the area for the control panel where we can now create a new page. So let's now add a file into here. Okay, so what we can then do, we can first of all give the page a title. So let's call this our July policies page. And then within here, we can start to input the information. So this can be text, it could be more dynamic in terms of videos and styling, how you want to display information on the page. You could even pull in content from the rest of the Bitrix24 system here. Okay, so we can input that information into here like so. And let's then, first of all, we'll apply that and save that in the system. So we've created there the page, and obviously your teams can spend a lot of time there styling out the information. And then what we need to do is we need to add a new menu item. So if we click into the menu area here, then what we can see here, this is the current information that we have, the menu structure. So we saw the sitemap tab within the page. We want to add another tab onto here. So let's now go into here, and we'll call this July policies. And then we can add the link. And then what we'll do there is let's apply that and save it in the system. So now if we go onto the front end of our Bitrix system, what we'll see here now, let's go into the company page. Okay, so we can see now the sitemap is still there, and then we've got our July policies page, and you can see the information that we imported. So that's just a high level view and process of how we can create new content of pages inside our Bitrix24 system. So it really just shows you here how customizable a self-hosted version of Bitrix24 can be. But let's just if we just go back into that area again, I just want to actually show you some additional functionality that we have. So if we go back into the menu area here, and then if we go into the advanced mode, what we can do is, let's say on the June policies page that we've just created, what I can then do from here is we could put permissions in place. So I might say, for example, here, only people who are associated to the HR department can access this page. So we're limiting access to the area of the system that we have just created. So that is a fantastic piece of functionality that you can use because it means you can control what information is shared across different teams and departments within your Bitrix24 system. So if you're wanting to have this level of control, you really do want a self-hosted version of Bitrix because, again, all of this functionality we're looking at here, this is in the control panel of Bitrix. So you don't have access to this on a cloud version of Bitrix24. And then in similar functionality to what we've just looked at here, of course, we have the extranet site. Okay, so within the extranet site, again, this can be branded. So when you're inviting your clients into the system, this can be fully customized with your branding and logo. They've got access to their collabs that they are going to be having access to collaborate with the internal staff on Bitrix. But we have additional functionality in the self-hosted so they can see, for example, their courses in terms of the e-learning module, and they can see all of their support tickets that they are associated with. So you're able to share a lot of additional functionality, but also control and customize exactly what information your external customers are able to access when they come into the portal of Bitrix24. Okay, so that is a look there at the customization capability of the Bitrix24 system. So in terms of the features and functionality, so what we see on here right now, you have on both the business and the enterprise cloud version. And in terms of functionality, the on-premise comes with additional features that the cloud system doesn't have access to. So if we just take a look, first of all, if we go into our Bitrix system, what we'll show you first of all is I'm going to show you the native help desk system that Bitrix24 has. So if we go into our control panel again, and if we go into services, I mentioned how you can connect mailboxes into Bitrix. What we can do with the self-hosted is we can put rules in place on those mailboxes. Okay, so for example, we could create a rule that when an email comes into a specific mailbox, that could then automatically create a help desk ticket inside the help desk system. So that is a piece of functionality that can be automated. And if I just show you here, in terms of where that help desk resides, the standard help desk of the self-hosted version is here in the control panel. So within here, we can see all of the tickets associated to the system. So we can see the tickets here, and we can answer those tickets, and you can have FAQs to have fast responses go out to the client. You can also set up SLA levels as well to control the time parameters for when a ticket needs to be completed by. However, what we had a lot of businesses say was they were looking for more of a modern look help desk system and something that actually talked with the CRM system. So what we have created here at Interface is a front-end help desk system. Again, this is designed and it's solely possible to create using the self-hosted version of Bitrix24 because we use the mailbox rule that we've just looked at. So what we can then do in here is when an email comes into that mailbox, it's going to automatically create the ticket here inside the system. And then we're progressing the ticket through customizable stages, and we can see all of the history of that ticket inside the system here. So we can see the details, all of the communications and email comms that take place, and it links with the CRM. So I can click into the customer's record and I can see all of the information about the customer, and I can even link in here. I can see all of the help desk tickets that the customer is connected to. So you have all of that history rolled up back to the contact or the company as well combined. You could have both inside here. So it's fully customizable to the processes that you want to create for your help desk system. And another piece of functionality that you have access to is the e-learning module. So you can design out courses that can then be associated to, could be internal staff or to external customers as well. So this is on the extranet site. So they can go through the course, and then complete specific questions to reinforce their knowledge. And then you can see if they've passed. You can set minimum thresholds for what needs to be achieved to pass that specific course. And then you can even have badges added to the user's profile on the Bitrix system. So there's lots of additional functionality, but then also the customization capability, being able to customize the look of the system, creating your own content and pages. And then alongside that is the integration capability, which we've kind of just referenced really already there in terms of, as an example, using rules on emails. So that can be to generate help desk tickets, but it could also be to generate work groups or tasks inside the system. So I think that's almost like a third really important element of the self-hosted. After the customization, changing content, it is integrations. And you have access to the full APIs. So you can then create integrations with other services, and you can control the level of the integration rather than having to just simply use the REST API. So it could be integrating with accountancy packages, it could be with marketing suites and platforms. And so, for example, if you're wanting to integrate with maybe a desktop version of an accountancy package, that can specifically require a self-hosted version of Bitrix24 to complete the integration. Okay, and then moving on from there, looking at some of the core functionality of the self-hosted version of Bitrix24. Just as importantly, you need to decide how the system is going to be hosted. And you are essentially, you have hosting options that you can select from. Okay, so you have a choice to either host in-house, or you can use a partner's hosting service. Okay, so for self-hosting, if you wanted to host this yourself, we can provide a virtual appliance, which is a free application that allows Bitrix to run in a pre-configured and fully secured virtual environment. So this saves time on product and maintenance installations, and it also improves the overall system performance by approximately 30% compared to the standardized format. Now, alternatively, Bitrix can be hosted and managed by a partner, such as Interface. And this is what we class as a dedicated cloud solution. There are many benefits to having ourselves host a self-hosted system for you. So first of all, it's a fully managed service. So server performance is managed by ourselves, and it's optimized for speed and performance. We'll ensure your data is secure and fully backed up, and you can control that backup retention policy. And just as importantly, projects can be scaled without having to invest in brand new and further hardware that the business has to pay for. So that is a real core benefit as well of using our hosting service. So essentially, partners such as ourselves, we're specialists in managing those servers, and that can save you time. And also, it simply provides you peace of mind. If you don't have that expertise in-house, it's more beneficial to have ourselves host it. And we're going to take a look in a second now at the costs, and I'll mention here about the hosting costs. But first of all, in terms of pricing, if we just look at the license first of all, and we looked at it earlier on in terms of the Business 50, so that's the starting tier of the self-hosted. That's priced at $3,590 in year one. And then in year two and ongoing annually, you'll pay a renewal fee to continue to access the system. So that's $1,795. As you might want to scale up, add additional people to the system. If you want to move from the 50 user to the 100 user, you simply pay the difference to upgrade. Okay. In terms of hosting, so partner hosting is approximately Starting with 100 gig, you're looking at $2,950 for 12 months, and that can scale as well if you want to spec it up more. There's obviously going to be cost for customizations or any integrations that you want to perform. And then you really need to budget as well for tailored training and premium support for this system. It is the most advanced version of Bitrix24. And we've seen so many businesses try to set this system up themselves, fall into trouble. We then have to go in there and essentially de-scope the system and then start from scratch. So it can be a lot more expensive and a lot more time consuming if you don't have that specialist support and training in place from day one. And that's something, of course, we can provide here at Interface as the world #1 self-hosted partner of Bitrix24. Okay, so in summary today, we've seen how the self-hosted version of Bitrix24 is a completely customizable version of Bitrix, how we can rebrand the system, add content, use complex rules to create items such as help desk tickets. There's the options to create additional integrations using the API, and we have extra features such as the help desk module, the ability to create additional content, and simply having a solution that is a completely scalable product that can be fully rebranded with your corporate identity. Okay, so that is a selection there of our up and coming webinars that we have available for you, just simply to help you understand and get more value out of the Bitrix24 system. So you can register for our webinars at interface.com/webinars. We're here every other Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So I hope you're able to join us in the near future for our up and coming webinars. Okay, so thank you very much for your time today. I look forward to seeing you all again in the near future. Bye for now.